whereas it is not possible in laser, because laser is traveling in a particular parallel beam because it is coherence in nature. It can travel over a long distance without spreading. You can observe it in normal light, that normal light can spread all over and it cannot travel to a longer distance. But due to less spreading of laser, it can travel to a longer distance. Let us move towards the last point. The angular spread of the laser beam is 1 millimeter per meter. That means what? 1 millimeter per meter, the spread of that angular beam is very less. Here I have shown a particular figure, or if I say a image of sunlight. Sunlight, you can say that sunlight is scattering in all possible direction, or it is spreading in all possible direction. Comparing to laser, laser is also a type of light. Now if you observe laser, this is laser. That means you can observe here through this diagram that the spreading of this laser is very less compared to sunlight or normal light. That means it is directional in nature, it can concentrate to a very lesser area, and it is having a high energy content which can concentrate on very less or very small area, that is of 10 raised to minus 6 centimeter square. Let us move towards the next point, or if I say the last point of properties, that is high monochromatic. From a normal monochromatic source spread over 100 nanometer wavelength range. That means if it is a normal monochromatic source, it is spreading over a wavelength range of 100 nanometer. But comparison to laser, it is having 1 nanometer spreading. That means it is having a single wavelength, or it can emit a light of single wavelength. That means 1 nanometer compared to 100 nanometer is single wavelength and very shorter wavelength range, due to which what you can say is it will be having more single color nature. You have seen various type of color of lasers, that are green, red, etc. So these were the properties which we were describing for laser. Let us move towards next question. Before moving to next question, here a difference between a monochromatic and different type of colors are seen. Through a prism, in this image there is a prism. When monochromatic light is passing through that prism, it is distributing, that means the light is distributing in 7 different type of colors, that we can represent it as a spectrum. So the white light or single wavelength light, it could be of red, it could be of blue, it could be of green. Laser will not have multicolors, but it will be made up of a single colored. Let us move to next question. The question is metastable state. Here this metastable state is discussed for an atom which is traveling from the ground state to excited state of orbitals, or if we can represent it as a energy level. The energy level in an atomic level, what you can represent it? The lifetime of that atom in this state is more, then we can represent it as a metastable state. That means the atom is stable in that particular type of state, and the lifetime of that atom in metastable state is 10 raised to minus 3 to 10 raised to minus 2 second, or it is of the order of 10 raised to minus 3 to 10 raised to minus 2 second, which is more time compared to any another type of state where atom is getting stable. So, in metastable state, the atom will be having a more lifetime compared to any another state. So, this was the definition of metastable state. Metastable state is a topic, or if I say it is a point related to laser. And metastable state is the state through which you can achieve the stimulated type of, through that you can achieve laser. That means there will be emission of photons in the form of laser. Now, let us move towards the next point, that is population inversion. Population inversion is a state of achieving more number of atoms in the excited state compared to ground state. That means N2 is greater than N1 is a particular type of population inversion condition. In the last line, you can read that population inversion can be achieved by pumping. We will also define pumping in our next definition, but before that, let me show you, or let me draw one diagram through which I can explain the state of achieving more number of atoms in an excited state compared to ground state. Let us see it. Let me represent E is the excited state and G is the ground state, where there is a particular atom considered in a ground level. When a photon, let me write it, it is a photon. When a photon is absorbed by this atom, what will happen? This atom will gain energy and will transit to excited state. That means now this atom will travel to this excited state. When it is coming back, it will emit a light of a particular energy. That means what? There is a stable state in between which represents the metastable state. Here, if atom is considered, it is represented as N2. That means atom in this state will be the number of atom in excited state, and if atom are in this state, then number of atoms are considered as N1 in ground state and number of atoms in excited state. That means to achieve laser, the number of atoms should be more in the excited state compared to ground state. That means N is the number of atoms, N2 is the number of atoms in excited state. You can pump the atoms to N2 and achieve more number of atoms compared to N1. So, let us move towards the slide. Pumping. It is the mechanism of exciting atoms from the lower energy state to higher energy state. By supplying energy from an external source, you can achieve population inversion. What will happen? When pumping is done, that means you are supplying a type or amount of energy to atoms. That atom through pumping will gain the energy and travel to higher energy state. That means if that atom will travel to higher energy state, the number of atom in higher energy state will increase. Here you can see that there are two types of pumping I have represented it. One is electrical pumping and another one is optical pumping. Optical, or if I say opto, that means it is related to light. That means when you apply a light of a particular energy on that particular atom, then through that light in the form of photon, it will absorb the energy and will transit to higher energy state and will achieve population inversion. In the same manner you can use electrical pumping. Let us move towards next question. Discuss in detail the advantages of optical fiber over conventional metallic cable. I repeat, discuss in detail the advantages of optical fiber over conventional metallic cable. There are various advantages of optical fiber compared to metallic cables. The first advantage is that optical fibers are made up of silica, due to which silica is a non-conductor, or if I say it is an insulator in comparison to metallic cable. Metallic cable is conductor of electrical energy. That means it can conduct electricity, whereas fiber optics is based on light. The first point of advantage is extremely large bandwidth. The second point is immunity to electrostatic interference. Third point is elimination of crosstalk. Let us move to the next slide. It is lighter in weight and it is smaller in size. Next point is lower cost. Optical fiber is having cost which is very low comparatively. Security is very high. It is having greater safety. Corrosion is high in metallic cable. If I compare it with fiber optic cable, corrosion is very high because an insulator will not conduct corrosion, and if it will not conduct corrosion, it will be having a longer lifespan. That means the life of that fiber optic cable compared to metallic cable will be larger. Let us study it in detail. In communication, we are using internet, telephone, mobiles, etc. The communication is totally based on fiber optics, and with the help of it, comparison to metallic cable, the range of frequency of fiber optic cable is 100 gigahertz. That means the range of frequency is defined as the bandwidth of that fiber. 100 gigahertz is a very large bandwidth, or if I say a frequency range. Through this large bandwidth, what we can do is, it is possible to transmit thousands of voice conversations, or if I say voice call, or dozens of video signals over the same fiber continuously can be transmitted or can be received. Compared to metallic cable, if we compare it with metallic cable, what is the comparison? Let us see. Comparison to metallic cable. Very less number of independent signals alone can be sent through metallic cables. That means a dozen of videos and thousand of conversation can be sent through a single fiber optic cable, whereas in metallic cable only a single independent signals can be sent through a metallic cable. Let us move to next point, immunity to electrostatic interference. Optical fiber are made up of either glass or plastic, that means non-conductor of electricity, whereas metallic cable is a conductor of electricity. Electrical noise and lightning do not affect the energy in fiber optic cable, and there will be this result in noise free transmission. Due to the interference effect, what will happen is, there is not true for this is not true for actually metallic cables which are made up of metals. They are good conductor of electricity, and due to the conduction of electricity or lightning, there will be noise transmission through the communication. So, it is better to use fiber optics compared to, or it is advantageous to use fiber optics compared to metallic cables. Elimination to crosstalk, that is, fiber systems are immune to crosstalk between cables, because in metallic cable what will happen, there will be magnetic induction between the two wires, and due to the magnetic induction between the two wires, crosstalk will take place between metallic cables or between two metallic cables which are passing parallelly with each other, and electromagnetic coupling will take place. But this is not possible in fiber optics because it is made up of non-conductor or an insulator. So, we can say that there will be no crosstalk. These fibers are used in ships, aircrafts and high-rise buildings. There will be ideal transmission because the size is very low. The size is very low, and if the size is very less, definitely the weight will be also very less. So, the point is lighter weight and smaller in size. In the same manner, the cost is very low due to the silica or silicon dioxide which is abundant in nature, and if we get that abundant material, the cost will be definitely lower compared to metallic cables. Security, the fiber optic cable will be more secure, though it can be intercepted or trapped, but at the another end what will happen, the receiver